Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I wanted to just come on and tell you guys I'm so excited that you all are joining me today here on the Kim Jacobs Show. We are going to have a great show lined up for you. My guests today are Geraldine and Christopher Crooks from Brisbane Academy. So you are going to get to know a lot about them throughout today's broadcast. And I want to first give you the opportunity as you come on to share this broadcast with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Let everyone know that the Kim Jacobs Show is on the air and we're going to have a good time. But of course, I love giving you all of the housekeeping announcements to know that when you join in on today's broadcast, make sure that you comment if you would like to be a part of the studio audience comments. And that way I get a chance to pull your comments in and encourage my guests, as well as if you have specific questions for my guests, you get a chance to comment and pull it right in. And if you don't comment, I don't have a clue that you are officially at the microphone in the studio audience. So make sure you do that throughout today's broadcast. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's show. We've had a few technical difficulties, but that's okay. Anytime you're dealing with some at home equipment and things pop off a little bit here and there. So I will be pulling my guest into the broadcast very shortly. And so let's go ahead and get started by allowing me to introduce my guest. So Geraldine Brisbane Crooks. She is a native of Charlotte who has committed herself to improving the lives and positively impacting the futures of Charlotte area students of all ages for more than 28 years. As the founding director of Brisbane Academy and Brisbane Tutoring Center, Inc., she has been at the forefront of educating thousands of young minds and solidifying a legacy that has made a significant difference to past, current, and future generations. She loves to see people, especially youth, happy and confident and firmly believing in knowledge. That's the foundation to knowing and experiencing success in life. Her passion for helping others was passed down to her as she grew up under the watchful eye of her grandparents and mother, Dorothy Brisbane. This included many hours of volunteering the elderly and those that are less fortunate in the community. So she's always had a passion for helping those that are less fortunate. She's strived to help others feel, think, and live better lives. And as a result of everything that she's been through, she actually established a learning center for students with attention deficit and learning disabilities. Established in 1992, she started with 13 students that started the Learning Center with Brisbane Academy, and it continues to offer young people quality education and social environment to develop a love for self and the overall learning process with a current enrollment of actually 85 plus learners. So it's so much that she's done. She's traveled to Johannesburg, South Africa. She loves educating, mentoring, and empowering young people. She has a BA degree in mathematics from UNC Charlotte, MED in education administration from Grand Canyon University, and she is highly sought after for her leadership and her motivational skills. So I am so proud to be able to have Geraldine Brisbane Crooks on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. And I am going to also introduce her wonderful husband as well. Let me just check in and see if they are able to tune in with us right now. We had a few technical difficulties in the back, and I want to make sure that I didn't delay the show any longer, but wanted to make sure you get to hear some of the history of these powerful guests that are coming on. So let me introduce you. I can see them in the back office here preparing their device. So this is Christopher A. Crooks. Chris brings a diverse perspective to Brisbane Academy, one he attributes to his Jamaican heritage, a strict upbringing in his native England, and a wealth of unique experiences gained from a 20-year service in the military. An innate desire to work with children is strengthened by his firm belief in education being at the core of many of his life successes. Following his undergraduate coursework at the University of North Carolina, where I'm sure he met his lovely wife, Chris earned a bachelor's and a master's degree in human resource management from Park and Chapman Universities, respectively. His advanced work and certification in organizational management only adds to the toolkit that he's already been blessed with. Let me see real quick if okay. Yeah, so they are going to, let me just sell them one quick thing in the back office. Okay. And so let me finish introducing this gentleman. During his military career, Chris served with this distinction in positions of increasing responsibility in the Army's Human Resources Corps. He completed HR-related command and technical assignments from across several echelons of the Army's hierarchy in Germany, South Korea, and all throughout the United States. At Brisbane, he's been the executive director, and his primary goal is to help children succeed in education and in life, which is his shared mission with his wife and the entire school staff. His administrative and organizational experience, coupled with his unassuming yet firm demeanor, is well suited for the position that he holds within Brisbane Academy. So he has a small, dedicated, and diverse team, and he oversees all aspects of the daily operations of Brisbane Academy. He believes in helping young minds embrace and enjoy the learning process as they build the right foundation for each one to build upon their futures. So I am super excited that I have with us today Chris and GERI Crooks, and I want to make sure that they get the opportunity. I can hear you guys, but I just can't see you. So I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to see your lovely faces as well. But as you're showing your so they will get a chance to come on and talk with you guys live. I do want to give you the opportunity to subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. If you have not done that, make sure you take a moment and go to our YouTube channel. And if you're not sure what it looks like, sometimes people are like, well, where do I go? And, what do I do? Let me show you where you would go and what the process is for you to be able to subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. Let me take you there. So here's what you do. You go right to this page, which is on YouTube, the Kim Jacobs Show. And I can also tell you briefly about our sponsor today.
Hi, Coach Elena Green here with Elena Green Fitness, where I help women reconnect with themselves through.
Let me introduce you to our sponsor for today's episode as well. And her name is Elena Green from Elena Green Fitness. And Elena is having a special challenge that she is inviting all women to participate in. So I want you to take a close listen to what her invitation entails.
Hi, Coach Elena Green here with Elena Green Fitness, where I help women reconnect with themselves through active living, mind, and body transformation. I want to personally invite you to our virtual Fit Body Expo 8-week program starting on July the 6th. Guys, if you have a goal to whip your body into shape, this program is for you. For more details, email elenagreenfitness@gmail.com or just simply look me up on Instagram and Facebook. I hope to see you there.
Woo-woo. All right. That's Elena Green Fitness, and she is the sponsor for today's episode. Now, I am going to go ahead and get ready to pull my guest in. I am so giddy excited today. I can hear myself in the background with this technical stuff going on. So let's see. This is the 50th birthday. Okay, so guys, oh, you know what? So we're going to now pull our guest in. Which, can you hear us by chance?
The volume is a little low. Can you hear?
Oh, we can hear you perfectly. We can hear you perfect. Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you completely perfectly. And you look great as well. And let me make sure I put this precursor on that Chris and GERI Crooks have been backstage since 10:45 a.m. So they are not at all some unprofessional people. They are extremely on top of it. We just had a technical difficulty with the device that we were working from and downloading some stuff. So I am honored to have Chris and GERI Crooks on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. And it's just a trick of the enemy to try to prevent you from being able to get great information out there that has to be shared and that's very helpful to the community right now. So with all that's going on with COVID-19 and you all running an academy, we know that it's been interesting times, to say the least, with people dealing with their children that are school age. And I really want to give people a chance to know, how has COVID-19 affected school age children from your perspective?
Well, you know what, Kim? But we're unable to hear you.
Oh my God.
So should we log out and log back in again?
Okay. Oh, wow.
Technology is wonderful when it works, huh?
Well, I can hear you, so this is good. Okay.
So we can barely hear you.
Oh my gosh. Guys, you guys are getting to witness the behind the scenes technical stuff. Okay.
So what we can do is we can log out and log back in and see if it works.
Okay, go ahead and do that. And guys,
Okay.
I'm encouraging you all that are watching today's episode to stay put, because these educators have some great knowledge to share with you all. And I don't want you to miss this episode, because it's going to help our school, especially parents that have school age children. You all know I'm a mom of 5 children, and my children have all, even ranging from middle school to college and even beyond, even my adult child, they are all in the house, and it's pretty interesting. So I would be interested in just hearing some of the things that you guys are dealing with children that you have that are school age. So feel free to type your own comments and your questions, or some of your best practices and things that you're dealing with pertaining to having school age children or college students that are home. I can tell you for sure that in my house, my college student, my college student eats a whole lot. So the grocery bill has gone up significantly. Not that, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's pretty interesting because he eats. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that one person could cause a bill to kind of go up so significantly. Anybody else experiencing any of this stuff, please type in some of your experiences. I would be interested in hearing them. But let me see if I can pull our educators back in. Hey, GERI and Chris.
Hi there. Let's try this one more time. Hello, everybody.
Good to see you all.
We can hear you now.
We have the best spirit ever. The two of you are just a joy, literally. So you're troopers, and thank you for your patience and your willingness to not just call it quits and be like, oh, forget this mess. Some guests will be like, we're not doing this.
Well, I know that we have wonderful supporters around the globe that's sending messages going, where are you? Where are you? That they're trying to tune in to as well.
Well, thank you. And now what happens is if you have a different device, do not touch this device. Don't touch this device. But if you have another device, you could just share from my Facebook page right to your friends and family.
Okay.
But don't worry about that. They're going to have to just figure it out.
They'll have to hear the recording.
We're just happy to have you guys on, and
very happy to be here as well. Finally, technology is so wonderful when it works.
Well, we're gonna still take our time and people can stay on for the broadcast, because we're not gonna miss a moment of what you all have to share. I've actually introduced both of you, and while you're here, I've already shared that these are the founders of Brisbane Academy. I've shared with each of your bios respectively, and wanted to make sure people know all that you bring to the table. And so I'm excited for them to hear about Brisbane Academy. Tell everybody a little bit about your academy.
Well, the Brisbane Academy is going on its 29th year. It's getting a little young. Yes, 29th year this year coming up. And it is an independent well, say, when I say independent, it's like a private independent school that is accredited, and we provide pre-K, so as early as 3-year-olds, because you know they're very smart now.
Yes.
3-year-olds up to 5th grade this year, and we have an amazing staff. Of course, we found out how amazing, everyone found out how amazing they were this past spring, huh? And our intent, because the school was actually started by 13 students that asked me to help them start Brisbane Academy 29 years ago. They're looking for a bully-free environment, an environment where they felt they were going from home to home, where they can be taught according to their individualized style of learning, which could be auditory, visual, tactile, or a combination of 2 or 3 of them. And then most importantly, they want to just, you know, have an environment where it's small enough so we know it all. We know the cat's name, the dog's name. You know, it is our village, and it makes a difference in terms of learning.
That's a blessing, because it does make a difference. I've been to your academy, and it is so warm and welcoming, and everyone knows everyone on a first name basis, and it feels like a family there.
Yeah.
And you two work together. You two work together in that capacity. How is that?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
For us, it's wonderful, because there's nothing like, of course, working with your best friend every day. Some folks would probably shy away from that, but I know that we are, you know, two kindred spirits and very like-minded in how we approach things. So if you're talking to one, it's just like talking to the other. So it's wonderful. It really is.
That's funny, because I'm actually typing what you're saying, but I'm typing it in a funnier way. So here's what I'm going to put up, and you'll get to see these comments anyway. Christopher's trying to get brownie points with wife GERI. That's what's happening.
We've actually been best friends though since college. It goes a long, yeah.
Good.
Long.
But I'll take those brownie points though. That's good.
And a couple of dark chocolate brownies on the side as well.
That's a good thing. Now, with all that's happening with COVID-19, with the quarantine that's been initiated over the time, even though it's kind of relaxing a little bit more now, but we saw how quickly the virus spread throughout the United States and around the world. What type of plans did Brisbane Academy have to put in place, like quickly, in order to adjust to all that was happening?
Yeah, I mean, it was quickly as too.
And I would say, well, we kind of attribute our ability to transition very, very quickly within a matter of 48 hours to a virtual program. So that in itself was quite an undertaking, just getting all those pieces to fit together into one puzzle. And add on to that is also getting our parents and our staff and our students involved in making all that work. So again, it's quite an undertaking that took place in a short amount of time. But like GERI said, you really get to know, you know, what your skills are and your skill sets and your attitudes. And there was just so many things that go into it. But God's blessing, we've been able to do that very, very well.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And one of the wonderful blessings, Kim, is that we have a global community, and we were just blessed with the opportunity of being a part of organizations and groups that were monitoring, you know, the outbreak like the Tuesday before, the week before. So we started like informing our families and staff, let's go get your items from home, and, you know, all of your tissue and your paper towels. And then our teachers, from that Wednesday on, we were putting together that virtual program, but it just made a tremendous difference, because if we had not been a part of the global community and monitoring it and preparing, we probably would have had to shut down for a week or two just to shift. But that Monday when we shut down, the children the parents, we have the best parents in the world. Our parents and scholars just transition, and our teachers were putting in long hours to make sure that it fit for our community.
And what feedback did you hear from the children, specifically with them usually being there close knit with their friends and supporters and their teachers? Did you get any feedback from them as to what they were experiencing? Because I'm sure it's similar to what all kids have experienced.
Oh yeah, I mean, we even had, you know, learned the real meaning of virtual birthdays, birthday parties online. But you know, our children are very loving, And so we had this whole, the Wakanda, you know, the air hugs, the virtual hugs kinds of things. And, you know, we had to even had to learn the whole virtual protocol. Like, okay, let's get off those, we got to take those pajamas off.
Oh,
We're in school now, so we had to go through that whole virtual etiquette because they were like, I'm here. I'm like, okay, you got to get out of your bed. So we, it was just a transition in their way, but a very slow transition because we wanted to make sure that it was not, we were all devastated, to tell you the truth. So we wanted to make sure as much as possible we were flexible, we were loving, we were accommodating, and just making sure that everyone, was able to, make the most out of, a very interesting situation. It's still interesting.
Wow.
That is one of the things that made it such a success for the scholars is that it really became a very exciting thing for them to transition to. Something they'd never done before, something mom and dad had never done before in many cases. So once they were able to see each other virtually and interact with each other, it just became another form of excitement for them.
Wow. That's really interesting because you're right. It's like it's a first for so many people. And so having the children, that etiquette thing, I didn't even think of that, but virtual etiquette is so important. No pajamas during school time. I can imagine the kids are sitting there just like, look, I know my children, some of them are still asleep. There's a few up, but others are like, look, we've been up all night. So just getting them on that schedule has been interesting. So when we have like doctor's appointments virtually and they come stumbling in, eyes swollen, I'm like, go wash your face. I mean, you're getting ready to go before someone. And I didn't think of it as an etiquette perspective.
Yes. Well, that and just, allowing them to talk, and what's going on and offering as much support as we could to the families, because it was a transition in many instances, because some children were, going to other relatives that didn't even know what, like grandparents, and they didn't have all that technology. So in some instances, we had to actually make sure if a child had their phones that we could just call via Facebook and Messenger. And so like with our pre-K students, it was definitely phone and one-to-one versus a Zoom group call, because, it only take like 3 seconds and you could lose a 3-4-year-old.
That's good.
But we interacted with them every day, and it made a difference.
So you're saying that the virtual experience wasn't just all on camera, it was based on the age of the child?
They were all on camera, but the pre-K students were more one-to-one, like a messenger camera conversation or Skype or Facebook, because they had to be one-to-one, because all it takes is one other. And they're like, oh, hey, what are you doing?
Hey, I see you. Yes. Everybody's distracted. Wrong labels at that point. It's like, no, they don't have ADHD or anything like that. It's just
no, they don't. It's just And during this time, they're easily excitable because they have all this energy. But from kindergarten up, they were on the Zoom calls.
Wow. So right now, you're the voice of pretty much all educators around the country. And so what frustrations have you experienced? I'm sure people that are educators would say, look, don't just ask them all these flowery questions. We've had some doozies out here with some parents that have gone in some situations. So without naming parents, please feel free to share, something that's happened that was like, that threw us off a little bit.
I'd say just from this, the ongoing circumstances, really working with each scholar and parent just to try and make that an understandable transition for them. Because, of course, you get the question, well, why are we doing this? And although it's fun to be on camera, kids want to know why. And being able to explain that, you have to tread very lightly and make sure that you're putting a positive spin on how you explain things. So I know that was a challenge, not just for us, but also for the parents as well.
That's really good.
Well, and some of my major concerns is hearing some of the children talk about the nightmares, and I spoke to one student one morning who, she really just had a concern, like, is this world, will we all die? And that's tough when you have a 4-year-old that's heavy. Yeah. That's heavy. We have no idea what she was actually feeling, but just had to have a series of conversations from our entire team, just assuring her that everything was okay and her mom would be okay and she would be okay and her family would be okay. And, and sometimes it's just too much TV for children. Right. We have to back up. And so even though we can get sucked into all the CNN stuff, those children are listening too. And they're hearing about these nursing homes and these grandparents. And, children can be very close to their grandparents. And so after that conversation later that night, that child is dreaming and the dreams aren't so good. So we just had to come together so tight, as I said to the team, that even water can't get through. And make sure that as we are praying every day, that we're following the guidance needed, because sometimes I would just get a message, you need to call this teacher, you need to call this parent, or, we had to just be very creative in that process. The other concern I had was just the level of stress with our parents, because, not only are you having to do this intense corporate job, you have this little one that's going, hey, did I turn the stove on too high? You're like, what? You can't even, I was looking at that reporter that was reporting on this international news, and this little daughter came bouncing in, and the people that watch them like, we think your daughter just came in the room. Then a little baby comes in the walker. I just thought that was the cutest. So we said to the parents, we did everything we could to make sure if you can just get them logged on or provide, make sure that they have, access. We're not going to ask you to do something, but we had to evolve to that because every day was different. So we had to, go back flexible, and still even now, every day is different. We have tentatively we plan to open our campus on June 22nd for camp, but there are no guarantees, and we're just doing all the protocol, the post-COVID cleaning and diffusing, the essential oils, doTERRA essential oils, and Himalayan salt lamps, and spring water for their immune systems, everything we can think of. But we're just being very vigilant, yes, and preparing and staying aware.
That's really good. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff you all are saying. And again, you're representing so many educators, whether it be public schools, private schools, charter schools. Everything that you're saying, I'm sure, can resonate with so many other leaders that are leading schools. And I'm really proud of everything that you're sharing, because it's very candid and real, that you had to evolve. It's not just something that just happened, but you evolved to become a great experience for the parents and the children. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a flash round. We have comments from a studio audience. So it's as if they're walking up to the microphone and they're taking the mic and asking either questions, or they may be just giving shout outs or kind words. So this is an opportunity for you all. You'll see it flash on your screen as well, to answer any questions or comment about anything that you'd like to share. I will start by saying, because sometimes I forget to say this, and our 80-year-old church mother at our church watches every day, and she watches on YouTube, and she'll text me and say, baby, I was watching you today, and I just want to tell you, you keep the good work up, and I'm over here cheering you on. So her name is Mother Julia Harper. So shout out to
Harper.
Wonderful.
Hi, Mother Harper.
And she has had heart surgery, and not just heart surgery, but a heart transplant of a 16-year-old young man that she acquired his heart, and she's had his heart for maybe 25 years or so. And isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And she and the parents, they stay connected, and every year on his birthday, every year on his birthday, the mom comes and connects with her to hear you. The reason I'm telling you this is because you're big on heart to heart. And everybody that knows GERI Crooks, she always hugs with the heart meeting the heart. And she shows heart love. So that's why I'm sharing this. So every year.
I missed that during this COVID-19. And so she's 80 years young.
80 years
old. She has this young heart. That's you'll have to give her a hug for me when you can.
I will. So anyway, okay. Pamela Howard is on. She said, good morning.
Hi, Pamela. Hey, sister.
Let's see who else. Vanessa Prasad Robert said, I have a little 6-year-old niece who does not live with me, but lives with my sister and mom.
Okay.
They're bearing the load of educating her.
Ah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Not a small task.
Well, it takes a village, so reach out and ask for some help because it is definitely not easy, you know. And even though the school systems have said no testing and done the promotion, we as parents and as a village have to make sure the children continue to learn, or next year is going to be a nightmare, you know, because, you know, it takes everyone. And ask for help, parents, ask for help. And we're here for you. Educators are here for you. And we miss the children. So just don't think that you're doing too much by, you know, calling and asking. You know,
That's good. Good advice. This is an absolute blessing. You have to know that this is what parents need. I'm glad to hear that, Vanessa, and glad that you tuned in today and that you came up to the mic and had a comment to share.
Yeah.
Wonderful tips for parents, Cassandra said.
Thank you, thank you. And there are some positive things, I'm quite sure, Kim, you can see yourself that have come out of this virus. You know, it's scary and it's shaking us up, even though we don't like change. You will like it or you will like it. So
Right.
you just need to like it. But, you know, just the time that you have to, you know, we won't talk about the food bill because that's not one of the positive things. But you know, the time with family, you know, and just, you know, even like the pollution on our planet is so much less. I don't even know the last time I drove my car. I've been inside since March 13th.
That's interesting. That's very interesting because I went out recently for just like a one day to go grab some things, and I spent more money than I've spent in all 10 weeks or 12 weeks that I've been shut in. I was like, my gosh, I need to stay shut in more often because I don't spend money like this.
You made up for some lost time, didn't you? But you know, it's also calling us to be creative because by nature we're creative. And when you're in a corporate structure or you know, you're not in a space where you don't get to use your creativity, it goes away. And so I just feel like people are probably adding years to their life as a result of this from being home but then on the other hand, there's some folk that have been pretty stressed out.
That's true.
Maybe not so, but a lot of that is that you have to let things go.
I agree.
We can't operate as if the way things were. You know, if that child is needing some attention and want to play jacks or coloring, you know, just take a few minutes to do it, you know. Yeah. So it's just we're going through this for a reason.
Oh yeah.
You know, Kim, one thing that's been good to see is, you know, along with the stresses that I've, you know, watched and heard on some of the parents' faces as we interact virtually here is just the knowledge that a lot of these parents are just now beginning to understand that they're able to do what they're doing. You know, there have been those few parents who have just jumped right on board and it's been a smooth transition. For those where it's been more of a challenge, you know, they start out by wondering, you know, can I do this? Or can somebody else do this for me? You know, working together, they're able to understand that, yes, I can teach my child along with the support of the village.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's great. That's
great.
Yeah,
the connection has been a good thing, but I also just know that, you know, I feel like our world, you know, I don't know what else could have made us do what we had to do in terms of our family being still, and whatever you resist will persist. So if a child is asking for attention, they're going to get it sooner or later. It may not be the positive attention that they want, but you know, if you have children in your home, you know, the technology is nice. But you remember back during the day, the jacks, and when I say the jacks, you throw the ball up, some people are like, the what?
Oh no, I know the jacks. You throw it up, you grab one, then you grab two, and then you can grab all 10 at one time. Whoop, I got
what you know about that, young lady. And so when I went on Amazon to actually order something, they're so expensive, I guess because they're considered antiques, right?
Yeah.
But even coloring or dress up or, you know, but just shut all the technology down, because we won't even talk about the immune system and how the technology can negatively impact, especially if you're not familiar with electromagnetic fields. There are blockers you can buy off of Amazon to put on this technology because it can cause inflammation and pain in the children's body as well as adults' body. You know, inflammation is not good, and we want to keep our immune system up for sure.
That's really good, really good. And this is a question from Cassandra. Do you have tips for parents that have children with special, unique academic needs?
Love is a very powerful, very, very powerful tool, but creativity is, you know, and you know, because there's not one fit for every child. And I've seen twins that are so totally different. Like, oh my gosh, I had to just like change my whole personality when I would go from one to the next. But just take the time to listen to your children, you know, being compassionate. Communication is critical. And in many instances, a lot of that break is because children are talking one language and we're talking another different languages. Take this opportunity to slow down, excel, and get to know them. You know, you may want, I mean, as young as these children are, you can say, tell me your story, you know, or tell me a story, you know, listen to them, hear them, see them, and just respond accordingly because they're all different and you want to work with them based off of who they are as a unique divine beings. And they're all wonderful and special. They're all unique and special. All of them.
Every single child is unique and special, and it's not just based on the special needs. But if you have special needs child, then you definitely need to go, I think, even the extra mile to meet their individual need. I'm really big. I talk about this in my book, Extreme Balance Makeover, and this is a shameless plug for my book. I do have that book. Is Extreme Balance Makeover. And so if you don't have a copy of it, make sure that you get your copy. It's on Amazon. And then you can also, if you want an electronic copy, you can get that. You can bring it to me, baby. If you don't have, come here for a second. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Wow. I'm glad you come here for a second. And you talk about special needs here. And this is,
how you doing?
How are you? You're growing up with your beautiful self. How you doing?
I actually had Kayla rush down and I text her. That's why when you saw me looking down, I was telling her to bring something to me. And I didn't realize she's up doing her treatments. And stand up for a second, Jayla. As you can see, she has her vest on. Jayla has cystic fibrosis. And even though she's been diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, which is this lung disease, she is a warrior and goes to great measures to be compliant. She's such a sweetheart. She's compliant. She does her shaky treatments to shake her lungs, and she does that multiple times throughout the day, and exercises and does everything to keep her lungs functioning properly. And I had her bring down a couple of things because this is some stuff when we're talking about things you can do with your family and children. We do these table topics, and I'll type that for you guys so you'll know what they're called. I don't know if I can type in. No, I might not be able to. Okay, hold that. You hold that for me. Okay, you hold that. Type table topic. Just don't push the wrong button because it'll stop the whole.
And she has an amazing mom, Kim. You are just an angel in so many ways, at home and in the community and in church and in our world. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. She just typed it and then I just deleted it trying to copy it. So she's probably like, what is happening? What kind of show is this? Okay. So
and you know, yoga is another wonderful form of way of getting the children to calm and relax and just hold very positive thoughts. So if you have not done any type of yoga, that would be a wonderful activity to do with your children.
I want to do yoga.
You want to do yoga? We can do yoga. We can do yoga and do it right on the mat. And this table topics too, I want to make sure I share with you. It's a thing of questions. And every day when we eat dinner as a family, we just go through and pick any, and this is an appropriate one, any topic. And we don't know what the topic's going to be. And the question is like on this one, which school subject will be the most important in your life? And so it's just a generic question, and it gives everyone at the table a chance to be able to answer the question going around the table based on their age, and it's all different answers. How are you like your mother, and how are you like your father? All kinds of creative topics that are in this table topic discussion starter. So That's something that we do at dinner time. How do you enjoy that, Jane?
I love it.
Okay, get ready.
That sounds great.
Awesome.
How do you enjoy it?
I really like it.
Okay, here you go, baby. And then this is some of her artwork. I've just bought a blank sketch pad.
Uh-huh.
And I drew in it.
Tell them about this one.
Okay, so I drew this one. It's Eevee.
What is it?
It's an Eevee. It's like a Pokemon.
Oh, it's a Pokemon she drew.
Ah, we're learning something new every day. You have a teacher in you, Jayla.
Yes,
You do.
She has a whole bunch of artwork in there. Okay, baby. Thank you. Yeah, show what she says. Wait, she wants to show her other one now. Might as well here.
This is the
Yeah.
toy. This is my toy that I drew. His name's Scruff.
That's her favorite. That's her favorite stuffed animal. Anytime she has to go in surgery, she actually takes this in
Good
with
job, girl.
Thanks.
and that's Scruff. Thank you.
Yeah, we might have to open a museum with all that work, Jayla. Good job.
Thank you, baby, for bringing that down. But I was just bringing, and you can close the door, sweetie. I was bringing her in to share that because you all are educators and talking about the creative things that parents can do with their children. So yoga, and you said yoga. I said table topics.
And board games. And you know, one of my favorite, checkers. And we have he's laughing because he can't beat me. I keep beating him. Okay, I think I'll let him win today, okay?
Can we edit that part out, please?
Yes. So you know, you remember checkers, right?
Oh yeah.
But just, you know, and in even chess, of course, he can play chess. I can't play chess. And do you know why I don't like chess? And this is probably not so good, because I feel like every piece should have equal opportunity. It's like, oh, with this one, can you move this way? That one can't do this and this. I'm like, well, why can't they all be equal?
No, they're like not going to be all equal. Not on chess at all. They can't wait to checkmate and king and all this stuff. I'm like,
yeah. Now, of course, now in checkers, you know, once you king somebody, they're king. But you know, without being king, you know, with the chess, it's just like way too many privileges for me. Like this one can do this and that one can't do that. I'm like, oh, that's just like, I feel like everybody should have equal rights.
I agree with you, Jerry. Now, as you all get ready to transition back, what words of encouragement or advice would you give to those that are looking to reopen their facilities and schools? And it's a lot to consider. It's like, is it going to really be safe? I've seen things where desks are going to be 6 feet apart, only a certain number per classroom, lots of things to show consideration. But when people get in that building, everybody's going to be together.
Yeah. Well, I want you to understand we're going through a very intense planning and training right now. And so we've limited the number of children that we will actually have in this summer camp. And we've actually canceled our other 4 programs. So very minimal. And the only reason we're even doing this program is because I know the children are ready to get out, and we miss them. And so I mean, this is still a tentative opening, you know, so anything could change, and we'll be actually briefing the parents here over the next few days, is that, you know, we have to all stay aware and informed and be proactive. And most importantly, I can't say this enough, we must keep our immune systems up. So if you have the essential oils, you know, doTERRA or Young Living, or you know, the Himalayan salt lamps, anything you can do to just help make sure that your body is healthy. And then, of course, once we get in there, no adults other than our staff will be allowed inside of our buildings. So only the children, only the staff. Children will be made aware in advance. No hugging, only, kind of hugs and ear hugs. And they will be spaced apart. And so we will be very diligent in terms of just that whole protocol of washing the hands, and those temperatures will be taken before they come into the building.
Oh, so, wow, that's good. So every child's temperature will be taken, and parents as well?
Well, the parents are not allowed inside the building.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The only adults that will be coming inside of the building will be our staff as well as our students, and there'll just be a protocol every day for them coming in and dropping them off, and then they'll be picked up. But we have to do what we have to do to make sure that their well-being and their health, you know, for our scholars as well as our staff. But this is what we have to do in order to be able to operate over the summers, to make sure that everyone is proactive. Yeah.
an important point that you know, we'll be addressing to not only our parents but really just for the general population is you know, as much as that we believe that we can do to help, you know, mitigate any spreads of the virus within our own community. I know parents need to be aware. I know the schools and school administrators also need to be aware of that. You know, it still continues to be a team effort. So it's not just us doing what we do on campus, but we're also trusting and, you know, recommending and asking our parents to really enforce those same kind of measures while their children are not on campus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, you know, we're just one part of the puzzle. We can control our own environment, but we can't control the environment that's outside of campus. So it's very important that school officials, school administrators, parents, and students understand that they still need to do those same things outside of campus: social distancing, washing their hands, and everything else that comes along with it.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm going to show your website so that you can, and people will still see you when I pull the screen up. So if you can just talk people through so they'll know how to go about registering. Let me pull that up and you can guide people. You'll see it on your end as well. BrisbaneAcademy.org. And if you could talk people through.
Yes. And so actually our spaces are very limited for the summer as well as the fall, because actually there were families that had planned to relocate, and those relocations aren't happening. So a number of spaces we thought would be there are not there. So I would say if you're interested or require any kind of support, and even we're offering a virtual tutoring. We have an amazing collaboration with TNT Educational Services, and actually the owner is also on staff with us, and she is amazing. So I would say that if you're interested in either one of the programs, the summer or the fall, to contact us immediately so we can, you know, see where we are and if there's a space to accommodate. But there's a summer orientation as well as a fall orientation, so parents will know exactly, you know, the kind of protocol that we're under and what the support that we're asking for them. And even to the point, things are simple, Kim, as minimizing the sugar.
Okay.
You know, because sugar affects your immune system, you know,
That's
and
good.
in addition to making your children bounce off the wall. And I know it's always really easy to say, here, have this bowl of cereal, but you know, if as much as possible, if we can keep those green vegetables organic and having them to drink, you know, pH balanced water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you're saying that, because my son, who is a college football player, he's requested, he said, look, I really have to get some of this weight off of me from all of this good eating that you're doing, as far as just,
Wow.
you know, flooding me with food. So I've been purchasing all kinds of greens and vegetables and fruit. And so with every meal I may cut up, it'll be whatever the meal is, like if it's salmon, and I cook a lot in my air fryer now, just from a healthier eating perspective. So I'll put together peppers and
We're getting hungry.
peppers and mushroom, and I'll put together like broccoli and mushroom and put some little balsamic light vinaigrette or something on it, just to give it a good flavor. And my children feel like we're really eating healthy around here. They love it. They just absolutely love the
You have
healthy.
to teach them to do that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because that makes an absolute a difference in terms of their energy, their immune system, and even how they think. You know, because what they say, you are what you eat. You know,
You gotta believe it. Right.
you eat a lot of junk, your brain is like, huh?
What happened? What's going on with me? So yeah, we're eating much healthier in this house. My husband said, look, if you're gonna still eat 4 plates, then you might as well, you're defeating the purpose, buddy. Because you just
well, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it sounds like some good eating is going on. You know, it really, sometimes the virus is really good too, because you know you don't have to worry about people invading your house and going, you know, at dinner time, you have people drop in at dinner time, and it's like, can't let you in. Sorry. Quarantine. Yeah, absolutely. But that is wonderful. But I say in everything that we do, we have to appreciate the gift that our children are. And I know it's tough, and it was just, I mean, but I don't know what else could have shaken our world in such a way for us to see our children, you know, to understand who they are, to connect with them, because there's going to be a point, I promise you, you keep living, that we will need those children, or we will want those children to be in our lives, and they will be on doing other things.
That's right.
So, and even for those of us that have adult children, this is a time too that, you know, typically we would not have, we would have been so busy, you know, not being able to be there for them as well. So, you know, it is a time too for ourselves to, you know, if you don't know what your personal mission statement is in life, or what truly inspires you, or why you feel like you are here on this planet, this is a time to reflect. And that's the other part of what I do, right? It's the coaching with the women around the globe and clarifying their mission purpose, because when women are happy,
Men are happy, right?
the whole world is happy. So my commitment right now is really spending time with women and helping them to launch businesses or expand businesses, because, you know, women do so much, but in many instances, a lot of times we don't know how much we do until we can't go anymore, and we don't want to be in that space. So live life is a gift, because, you know, during these times of uncertainty, we have to make the most of every moment.
I love everything that you guys are saying. And okay, I'm just popping in what you're saying. When women are happy, the world is happy, men are happy. And that's a quote from the Crooks family. So don't just go out quoting that without making sure you got it from the right source, the Crooks. The Crooks family.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, some more comments came in. It's all kinds of things that make sure, you know, you go back later and just see different people put different comments in throughout the day, and you may be able to address any of those for them. So as you all transition back, and we know that now this unexpected world crisis happened, do you have any kinds of like thoughts or conversations with parents, or maybe a planning task force or something that's going to be put in place to prepare for any other unknown life world crisis? Who knows? You can't even say what it could be, because we couldn't say this.
No, we don't. Every day we'll take it one day at a time. And I tell you, we're in so many meetings and so many trainings and so as we get the information, we definitely share with our team. We'll be sharing with our parents. Sometimes we overshare. Parents are like, okay, way too much information. So as much as we can get and just incorporate, because we do know that parents are at home and they are overwhelmed, and it can be overwhelming, but you must reach out and ask for help. Take the time to be still and just breathe. Yoga is, and there's one of our family members, Asha Sims, that does trauma yoga. And she is actually, we're working on doing collaborative partnerships around the globe to just help families and schools and people in the you know, those that are on the front line, because trauma is real, and you can't help or give someone something that you don't have. So if you're trying to care for others and you're not caring for yourself, something's wrong with that picture. I'm here to tell you. So self-care is real, right, Kim?
Yes,
and you're talking to the balance doctor right there.
Yes, I'm a big advocate that you have to we already know the airplane thing, but you have to be able to put your own mask on and be able to take care of yourself before you can help anybody else. Even if they're sitting right in your lap, you still can't help them if you're unconscious. So I'm a big believer in that. And yeah, I actually told people I won't even go into that, because there's some things traumatically that happened in my life. And I was like, man, if I pass away, it's from a broken heart, because that I could feel that level of intensity taking place on the inside. And I was trying to figure out how to course correct it and asking God to remove that heaviness that was happening. But it was a real thing. It's not, people do literally die of a broken heart. They can die of a broken heart.
Easily. That's the number one reason, you know, is this self-love. And that self-love, the love is coming from the heart. So anytime you feel like you need more love, go inside and then share. You know, so one of the wonderful things, we have an opportunity to just have so many collaborative global partners. So as we're interacting with them all over the world, we're able to get perspectives that we don't have here. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Lost you. So we're able to, we get tips on how they
But
are.
go back and make your point, because I want to make sure people heard from the beginning. You said, well, as you're interacting with people, say it one more time.
Yes, as we're interacting with people around the globe, we're able to ask them, so what kinds of things are you all able to do to stay healthy? You know, like, and in Africa, in South Africa, they were telling me about this tree that you take the leaves and you boil it, and if you have a fever or a cough or a flu or whatever, it goes away. I'm like, gee, can you send me a limb? But you know that, so hearing from, like, you know, the green teas to, you know, just something as basic as 8 hours of sleep and deep breathing. And even, like, you know, we have the whole body vibration. You know, that is very important in terms of shaking. Like, you know, you're talking about Jail's lungs. Is right now our lungs are critical.
Yes.
You know, because this is exactly what this virus will attack. So even if we're doing the jumping jacks or jump rope or, you know, just running in place, we have to make sure that our body is getting the circulation and the stimulation. So, you know, anything that you can do for movement to just stay healthy, you know, because with all the education, with all the love, with all of whatever you may have material wise, it doesn't do you any good if you're not living and you're not healthy.
Yep, that's right. Life is way too short on this side of the earth. And so I know the eternal peace will happen and everything, but I want to make sure that I also have a great experience right here on this earth as well. And so I'm grateful for everything that you shared. Another Raul Sharma said, I like this show, Kim Jacobs. Thank you, Raul. And make sure you subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show if you like it so much. Subscribe.
Yes. For sure. Oh, and you know, it just makes a difference when you feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like if you have a brand new car and you're out there washing it and putting premium gas and all of that, and it's looking good and you're looking good in it. We want to do the same thing for our bodies, you know. And I know that chocolate bar is delicious, but you know, one of the things I've had to learn to do is that before I pick it up in the grocery store, what kind of nutritionist value will it have for myself and my family? You know,
Girl,
is this going to end up causing me a dental? Will this $5 bag of chips end up making me pay $800 in a dental bill? You know, later on, because, you know, from, you know, just the whole protocol of washing our hands, brushing our teeth, you know, look, we lay it all out for the children. Wait a minute, you know, did you floss your teeth? You have to floss, you have to brush good, because you don't want your parents having any extra bills, because that's money they can use to buy you some things.
Oh yeah, they be like, floss. If I would get some listening.
For sure, but we must stay healthy as you know, community, a nation, a country, a world, so that we're able to just enjoy life and help others enjoy as well.
Wow.
I think it's all about being aware, just, you know, aware of our own bodies and how we're feeling, and of course aware of the world around us. We just can't afford to be complacent anymore, you know. So awareness and staying connected, especially when it comes to our children and our families. I mean, that's a must.
Yeah.
That's really good. Everything that you all said with our families, you all said so many things that's way beyond school educator perspective. I mean, this went into family and to what to do with your children, what to do with your special needs child, all kinds of stuff that you all have shared that is so educational and enlightening to people. So I've gone through, and let me see if I make sure I don't leave anybody out with some of the comments. I was trying not to. Andrea Bell said, great show, great information. Oh, Mira, I wanted to make sure if any of your friends from around the world were on, I get their comments. Hello from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things we're still back on self-care. And I say self-care because these are very stressful times, and the you know, as much as possible, we can eliminate the stress and the fear and the negative thinking and self-doubt, the better we can serve ourselves and our children and the community. Is that just like we have play dates, you know how we have play dates for the children, we have to set up play dates, not with other people, but with ourselves. And so when I say play date, it's just a thing that what I call self-care, that you are just making, set aside that time to, yeah, you can actually take your child's coloring book and color, or just to nice, relaxing bath, because we will hop in the shower and hop out. But I will tell you that water will draw out toxins, that will relax our minds, our bodies, our spirits, and in ways that just calm us. You know, we have to do all these things because, you know, we will so quickly go to the doctor or call the doctor's office. But even now, the doctors are like, well, you have to Zoom call me. You know, they don't want you to come into the office. So the best thing we can do, and I was raised by my grandparents, everything was, my grandmother would say, well, go to the right side of the house and get one of those leaves, and she'll boil it up and crush it up, and you know. And I actually did not really visit a physician until I was like almost like right in college. So because all those herbs and the love and the, you know, we just have to do better, because our bodies were not designed to handle stress, and life is just way too precious. Yeah. And our children are way too precious. So just take this time, just know that it's a huge change, but we can make the best out of it by making sure that we know that we're not alone. We have to reach out, and there are things that we have to do, and just letting things go and being grateful, because good will come out of it.
Anything on your end, Chris?
I can just echo those sentiments, and it's all about just understanding who you are, understanding the world around you, as I mentioned before, and again, just not becoming complacent, because there are a lot of things we take for granted, and you just mentioned some of them yourself. But when we do take things for granted, that's when the undesirables come up into our lives. So
yes,
very healthy, to stay connected, stay close, stay part of your children's lives, and all the rest will take care of itself.
I have one other thing that's very important. I forgot to mention: mask. Those face masks. Yeah, and so there are all kind of masks out there, and you know, parents, as you take your precious children to the daycare schools, ask those questions. You know, are you all wearing a mask, and are those masks clean? Are they washable, and that kind of thing. So just make sure we even have the doTERRA essential oils we spray our mask with, and you know, but those are helping.
Yes, they really
do the research.
Now, I didn't, at the beginning of the interview, I didn't get the chance to ask. I like for people, when they hear my show, from a balance perspective, because usually I'm talking about, hey, this is where this person came from, and this is where they are today. So I know I still wanted to make sure we got the full scope of the show. So that's why I went a little longer, since we were having the technical difficulties. But I want to know, did you both know that you were going to be educators, or what made you both end up in this field? I need to hear that for just a brief version of the story.
Well, my version, because as you know, I spent some time, many years in the military. But if I think back to high school and some of the folks who mentored me, and I speak about, you know, my sports coaches, soccer coaches, and, you know, back then they saw me as a person who would be working with children. And I didn't know what they were talking about. And, you know, fast forward to my time in the military, I was told the same thing by, you know, some of my colleagues then. And I was like, there's no way I'll be working with children. So by the time I reached the end of my military career and my transition into Brisbane, it was just a smooth transition that it could be. And my joy now is working with children. So even though I shied away from it earlier on in life and told people differently, that's just right where I'm supposed to be. So, and I love it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's funny, because being raised by my grandmother, who taught K through 12th grade in a log cabin, she was very, very strict. So, you know, a lot of who she was, it was emulated. You know, I just emulated her in so much, because she was such an amazing person. And so even in church, when we're at church, I'm 5 years old, and I'm like babysitting the 5-year-olds, because I was 5, but I was like 80. I was like 5 going on 80. So even like growing up, it was just always, you know, just, you know, that level of responsibility, you know. And even though I was very quiet and didn't really talk until I was much older because of a very severe stuttering, people would just always look at me as like this little older person. So I think that education piece from her, and just from wanting to see productivity from children, not just, out there, playing. And my thing will be like, go read a book, because that's what I hear my grandmother say, go read the Bible. Or, just, when if I could be in the grocery store or standing in line and I see children, I'm like, hey, do you know how to count? Or, hey, do you know this? Or, or even with teenagers, hi, are you in school? What's a good book you read? It's just to keep their mind, because really your mind too, your health and your mind, you want to keep it, keep your mind growing and expanding and learning new things. And and they don't always have to be scientific and mathematic and very intense things. It can just be, it could be, the Discovery Channel, just learning about animals and, the different countries and cultures, but just keeping your mind engaged. And so part of education is just wanting to, help people expand their mind and just, live a very full life and very informed life, if that makes sense.
And we never stop learning, no matter how old we are. We never
You
stop.
know that.
I am a big believer that I am ever learning and evolving. I'll never ever stop learning. That's just
That's it.
part of my existence. My son and my children, they know, buy me books and different things, and I literally I get books galore. Like, this is just like 500 social media tips and things that my son just got me. And he knows, get me stuff that's going to help me become a better person and understand more. So I have so many books. I have books on Kindle, books downloaded. I always want to learn. And so you all have been some tremendous guests. I'm so grateful that you worked with me through this whole technical difficulties.
Yeah, thank you. We're still learning that technology thing too. So
Thank you, Cassandra.
yes, thank you,
Cassandra Davis is the biggest blessing in the world. You can't. Oh my gosh, I was like going back and forth. I was like, sorry, Cassandra, help me. She was like, I got you. That's what she actually put. She said, I got you. So I was like, I know. Thank you.
And we appreciate you, Kim, more than you know. So keep up the great work and let us know how we can support. And for the parents, for you out there, and I know there's some days that you just like, oh yeah, reach out, ask for help, exhale, and enjoy life, because these are just definitely days that are very uncertain. But just know that we will continue to plan to be around for the children, to help support them. And just while you're planning, and I know that there's a part of our parents with their job load, just make sure somewhere in your day you're planning some fun and some time and one-to-one, and make the most out of it. And if we could be of support, reach out wherever you are in the world. If we could be of support in any way, just know we're here for you. We have like 11 sister schools in South Africa and other global partners in Panama and in South America. We have had some programs set up. So just know that wherever you are, we'll find a translator if need. But if we can be of support, just know we're here for you.
Anything you want to say as closing comments, Chris?
I can never top that,
We're twins, so we're not twins, but we're twin flames, twin spirits. Yeah, that makes a difference.
Get a room, people. I know you're educators, but I'm like, go get a room.
Well, you know what I was going to say, because I actually have a twin, so I don't want to make sure I clarify this. This is not my twin. I actually have a twin brother, but yes, my twin best friend.
Right.
Twin
I know
mom.
what you meant.
You have one of those. I know. I've seen you. I've seen you. No, but thank you all so much, and continue the great work. You all are doing an amazing job. If no one has told you, parents, you're doing an amazing job. So if your children are still breathing, you're doing an amazing job.
You are amazing.
But make sure you find your tribe, find your village, because when children look back on things, it's not just one person that has an impact. It really, really takes a village.
Cassandra said, let me put Cassandra's comment. Thank you for being our guest. Great show.
And thank you, Cassandra. You're amazing.
She
Thank
really
you all.
is. And her husband does all of, Elder Selwyn Davis, he does all of the flyers, graphic work for the Kim Jacobs Show. So together they are just a dynamic duo and making sure that everything goes smoothly. I have, typically when I'm filming in the studio, I have Mr. Joe Harrison who helps and comes in and does some filming. And then my son, Frank Jr. does some filming. And all of my photography work comes from Deacon Wayne Van. And so I have these, and then Sean Hall does a lot of my celebrity type of shows as well, where some people that it's hard for me to get. I just can't figure out how to get these people. She goes in the woodworks and gets people on the show. So I am just so grateful for the team.
It's a village.
Well, you do have a tribe out there. You definitely have a Kim Jacobs Show tribe.
Yeah.
You know, it's all good. And so happy belated Mother's Day.
Same
to you and all the mothers, and birthday, and happy Father's Day for those amazing fathers coming up that have had to be mothers as well. And yeah, and those mothers that are being fathers.
Yes, and same to you, Chris. Happy Father's Day coming up to you as well.
Yes.
And obviously Mother's Day to you, Geri. And so
I have thousands of children.
I know. And I'm just going to lean my heart into you because that's our.
Yes.
That's
Thank you. Heart to heart.
Heart to heart. All right, guys, there you have it. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. on the Kim Jacobs Show. And make sure you know that we are looking for college interns. I'll say that to you too, right quick, Geri, that we are definitely looking for college interns. So if you know of people that would like to get a college credit for this summer, it's college credits only. We're looking for 1 editor, 1 graphic design artist, 2 social media content developers, and 2 broadcast journalists, digital media representatives. And today's episode, I did already share with you all earlier, but today's episode is sponsored by Alina Green, and she's the mind and body transformer. And she has an upcoming program that she wants you all to know about. So I will run that because it was ran earlier when we were having technical difficulties. So I'll run that once again as well to let you hear her message. Let me go to my page. And we're going to go right to Alina Green, who.
Hi.
We love you, Kim.
Don't disconnect.
Through active living mind and body transformation. I want to personally invite you to our virtual Fit Body Expo 8-week program starting on July the 6th. Guys, if you have a goal to whip your body into shape, this program is for you. For more details, email alinagreenfitness@gmail.com or just simply look me up on Instagram and Facebook. I hope to see you there.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, so that's Alina Green. She's our actual sponsor for today's episode. And if you're interested in ever sponsoring an episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, you can simply just email me, kim@thebalancedoctor.tv, and we'll be able to run your 30-second commercial as well, or you can sponsor for a full week. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you for being my guest.
We love you, Kim. Love you all.
Oh my